Friends. So after getting some of the complaints that the voice of previous Weber class was not clear, let us restart Weber once again. So Max Weber is one of the most important thinker of all time in the study of sociology to make sociology as a scientific discipline, and Max Weber is also a positivist as well as a functionalist. So what is functionalism? Functionalism is a branch of sociology in which we see every part of society is interconnected to every larger part in taking the action, interaction, or the decisions for the larger parts of society such as religion, law, education, politics, and so on. And who are positivist? Positivists were those philosophers or those social researchers who were willing to establish the discipline of sociology as a science, as Auguste Comte established sociology as a social physics. Now, Max Weber became important as he studied the sociology in a typical manner. He studied sociology on a scientific ground and made his own research method of Verstehen and give concept of ideal type as a measuring rod of any social incidence or activity being taken. He also propounded famous theory of bureaucracy that is studied in your Labasna Academy, and you study public administration in these academies. You also get training for the bureaucratic official functions. He also propounded the value neutrality in research, that any research should be kept value neutral for the researcher away from his value biasedness. He also propounded theory of Protestant ethics and study of spirit of capitalism. Now keep your focus high. We are going to discuss some important fact that Max Weber said. Max Weber propounded the theory of social action, and he says that the focus on individual in taking the social action determines his interaction. So in it means decides the goals. So he takes the action in terms of certain relationships. For example, he takes instrumental action in receiving another actor, or such as a relationship of political leader with subject crowd or in his constituency. So we also see the interaction of girlfriend and boyfriend relationships. So there are value based, they care for each other. They provide each other sexual needs. They provide emotional care to each other, and they also provide the deliberations of intention and plans. They also provide the situational comprehension and elaboration in relieving their pain or in need of any emotional turmoil. So in this way, though two persons interact in the society. So we also see that when a child is going to a school, or a say young adult going to university, what kind of action will he take? He will first of all think of library, he will think of his university campus, and he will start moving towards the college. But in the meantime, in the way, he will found some protest going on against the women wrestlers harassment at Jantar Mantar. he joins the movement and sit at the Jantar Mantar. Now, what kind of action is this? Is it a traditional action? It is a rational action? It is it a goal oriented action, or is it a value rational action? So let us see how Weber will search the answer of these actions in his social structure terms and different body of organism working together. Now let us see that what is rationality according to Weber. So he studied the Enlightenment period in Europe and concluded that when rationality comes into the mind of people, they started a rational inquiry in terms of logical and mathematical calculations. He also put forward that rationality asks the reasoning and asks for reasonable answers in a logical manner. On this basis, he gave two types of rationality, that is rationality as purposeful action, that's Zweck-rational action in German word. So Zweck-rational is called as a goal rational, in which purpose or goal of the society is keep it in mind, or the individual who is taking any action. Second type of action is the value rational action, in which the value of individual or the society is kept in mind when he is taking certain action. For example, you have a girlfriend, you want to marry her, but your values are so strong that your family wants you to do a cultural marriage or arranged marriage. So what you will do? You will do talks, you will do deliberation, discussion with your family with reference to the values, beliefs of your family. Then some actions are affective actions in a third kind, which are emotional based, on which action going to college student who is taking part in the social movement or protest against the existing government with the wrestlers for justice. And fourth kind of action can be a traditional action, in which the actor getting arranged marriage in a patriarchal society, and women also doing in modern societies going into IAS officer office wearing sindoor, bindi, sari, despite the official dress is provided to that person. So these actions become very important. Keep it in mind. Now let us discuss some more details of these actions. So Max Weber says that the social action is an attempt to exemplify people's actions and behavior in certain social circumstances, and underlying the reason for the action, that means discovering the rationality of that action. So first is the value rational action, or that is called as a word rational action. It is based on the commitment to a set a particular value or belief. So in search of social justice, women atrocities being done, or atrocities against SC/STs in traditional societies, in villages, are such actions. Rationality in purposeful action, or goal rational, or Zweck rational action. वेबर इसे कहेंगे कि goal rational action attempts to justify the goal of the society by taking a rational decision. We see example of companies hiring or firing people who are lazy enough to not complete their job on time. So that is a goal rational action. Next is the affective action based on the emotions. When people see a movie in cinema hall, they start crying as they are part of that family, and many people start laughing on looking at the jokes traveling to a bus. These actions are compelled to be effective, emotional, or at the instant of the activity being taken. The last one is the traditional rational action, in which action is based on the ritual, tradition, cultural norms, and the customs of the society. Individual in this scenario accepts the cultural norms and the means provided by the society itself. For example, we celebrate Deepavali, we burnt Ravana statue, and we also celebrate Dashera, in which we make big statues, we worship, we celebrate. Similarly, in Christmas, we put on Christmas tree, we share the chocolates, gifts, and so on. These are forms of traditional actions in which ritualistic celebration is there. You see example of Kantara movie, in which there was a dance by Deva. So such kind of thing you keep it in mind when putting examples in your mains answer writing. Now let us stretch upon the condition in which these examples, these actions are being taken up with some of the examples. So rational social actions by Max Weber are taken into four parts: traditional, affective, value rational, and goal rational. Value rational means word rational, and the goal rational means Zweig rational. So traditional action is taken on the basis of tradition of society, customs, beliefs. Examples: parent get nomenclature of children, get school of the children, get the children married, and so on. Also other family members taking care of the children, and also the friends who help you in different circumstances as they believe कि यार friendship में यही काम आएगा ना. So this kind of action is traditional action. Second type of action which Weber says is effective or emotion based action, which there's higher income of the family, then people have high expenditures, high quality of life, high private partnership. It improves the material status, it improves the economic activity. So Max Weber has also given the concept of class, status, and party, in which he shows that how stratification in entire world is based on class, which is earning, which is having command over the resources, which is also having the status as the higher class due to its wealth and position in the society. It is also having the party or command over the power, which we will see later in stratification. Third action, according to Max Weber, is the value rational action, in which the need of accomplishment or self fulfillment. So, there are the values such as emotional affection with the girlfriend or wife, demand emotional care. In the similar manner, European Union is a great example, in which Union members from Europe, they believe that we are totally a European community with different nations. We together become a complete European Union. Therefore, we have a value to join the European Union completely as compared to the United Nations. Therefore, so we see that how European Union members join European Union to show allegiance, unity, and value rationality towards the European Union community. which was not seen in the United Nations membership earlier. So in this way, joining European Union becomes a value rationality. Last kind of rationality is the instrumental rational or the goal rational action. How is this happens? That people want independence or individual who is willing to have self-sufficiency and self-enlightenment, want to achieve his goal in his life, to become a scientist, to become a judge, to become officer. Then he have to be very specific towards his study materials, towards his learning habit, towards his day-to-day routine, and in following these habits he become instrumental towards his action. As an example, we see unemployment in large part of India or underdeveloped economies or developing countries is a part of threatened unemployment. Many people quit job because of they lack this kind of rationality, or they believe that their self-respect is larger than the money. You also see favorable market situation, people start buying many things. In value rational, we see favorable tax options such as GST implementation. We saw the cascading of taxes in 5, 12, 18 and 28%. It was asked by UPSC prelims also. So in instrumental action or goal rational action, the market situation become favorable to the individual who can get whatever he wants. So he become a goal rational, that he wants such kind of camera, he wants such kind of cell phone in which this specifications are present, he wants such kind of laptops, such kind of things are present in the instrumental action. So such kind of thing we also see in this mind map in terms of a memory map. You can easily realize and understand. So you see that social action theory is a interpretative theory and also a functional theory. So there are functionalists such as Max Weber, which is providing dramatological theory, and Howard Baker's labeling theory, in which someone is being labeled at some status and that is called as that name. That man is fat, mota ladka hai, alsi ladka hai, that is bad man. So that is labeled by this society, which is also a critical response to positivism, and it shows the state are socially constructed, and it also provides the action theorists believe there is an objective social structure, and it also say that how we need to understand society from individual perspective in comparison to the larger social reality. It also says that how people are themselves self concept with the others, and how humans are conscious actors. Humans are constantly interacting with environment. As you enter the roadside, you see the signal, you see the thelawala, you watch the cars, you watch the trucks coming out, you want sellers coming out there, you track some juice sellers, you want ice cream. So you are constantly interacting with the environment. If there is a friend nearby you, you are talking to him. So the same actions have different meanings attached to it. Interpretation of some phenomena in different ways. We also see the labeling theory that Howard Baker constructed, that how peoples are labeled, which is also a negative concept. We then overall evaluate that how positivists act in certain manner in marginalized powerless persons. how micro approach is helping the misunderstanding of appreciative delivery, and how it might lead to today's diverse postmodern age. There are some negative facts that social action approach are too focused on individual. It doesn't pay enough attention to structure, which is criticism by Talcott Parson. Also, material deprivation present in the real world, which leads to poverty. Okay, Giddens criticized it as social structure still exists in the form of abstract system. Giddens see that we need this structure to be free. Also, it is said that most social structure theory can't explain the depressing predictability of most human behavior because humans are reflective in nature, which we study in phenomenology. Okay, how crimes happens independently. Someone is going in train, theft is happening. Somewhere it is molestation happening. Somewhere there is murder and some other activities are happening. So such things are inevitable in the society because of phenomenological reason of human behavior. Now, Weber also gave some important instrument to do social research. So in his research methodology, it provided a versatile hand that is a meaningful understanding of the concept of putting yourself in the shoe of the other in order to see things from their perspective, which means that if a researcher is going to study atrocities against SCs or tribals, then he should himself become a tribal for 5 to 10 years and discover the atrocities through their perspective, through their point of view. This method gives a concrete benchmark in the sociological research to understand various problems existing in different social structures because India is full of diversity and each and every part of India is full of diverse societies, diverse class, communities, caste, clans, ethnicity occurred in India. So that leads to again study of a distinguished clan and distinguished diversity as a sociological research. Further, Max Weber also propounded the ideal type as a measuring rod of changes being done in existing social scenario. So ideal type gives a system that this is a framework under which such research on a tribal society should be done, that tribals should have a river, they should worship trees, tribals should get married in another village, marriage, religion, economic activity, and political actions are provided a given framework to study the ideal type in a framed behavior of individuals in concern with their larger society. Now you look at the interpretative understanding of social action, that you understand that how modernity leads to change in the structure of existing social reality, how there is stratification which helps in division of labor by understanding different labors and different kind of workers, whether they are working at the primary level such as cobblers, miners, potters, or they are working in a manufacturing unit. So this gives answer to all the questions raised by Karl Marx, that why there is exploitation of such laborers and workers despite there is no class consciousness and there is no revolt, it is going constantly. So functionalist as Max Weber says that these are maintaining the order in the social system. So ideal type provides a methodology to understand and analyze social reality in a given frame, whether it is a village traditional society or a modern city society. Why there is high divorce rate, why there is lots of suicidal activities, why there is so much crimes, and why there is high rate of success. All these questions are being answered to the ideal type of research. Thus, a model for scrutiny and systematic characterization of concrete situation provides the ideal type, and it means by which a categorized interpret and predict social actions. So ideal type provides a means and which categorized and interpret the social actions, and it can be also predicted. So you are a SP of your office. Now if you study sociology and Max Weber ideal type, you kind of predict the situation under which there can be certain riots with Dalit community or opposite religious groups. You can understand the happenings and events of social situations, why religious quarrels are there, and you can predict an event. During election there can be a chance of riot and polarization. Are you getting this? So this become very important phenomena to analyze the political, social, economic activity happening in a society. Weber also criticizes Marx. Let us do comparative analysis. Weber put forward that Karl Marx propounded the study of class and class conflict, which leads to revolution and establishment of communism. There are bourgeois who owns the capitalist society, owns the means of production and forces of production, and there are proletariats who are have-nots and who are selling their labor for their wages and being exploited. So they have no recognition in this situation. But Weber says that there is a class based on wealth, property, power, and prestige. So many people in the society share similar wealth condition, and the value of these assets are owned by the income. So earning family due to working condition in their life have their different circumstances and fragmented ownership. Mm. Therefore, people do not seem to revolt against the existing system. Weber also propounded that power is a controlled behavior of others without their consent, which somehow remains consistent with the existing system of Karl Marx, and also says that prestige is provided with the respect, honor, and recognition of the courtesy from the others, based on the view of the others. Now you see, when you fulfill the things which others demand through their rationality, fulfill their goals, then it leads to the view of the others and you got respected. It can be value based goals, it can be traditional goals, or it can be the rational goals, which leads to respect earned by one member of society, which turns to prestige in larger time. So in his theory of class, status, and party, Weber shows that how class become status and party system when it is economical in situation. Hmm. It is also religious, having same religious condition, then it becomes a class. So in this way, Weber propounds this theory in a larger part and criticizes Marx that Marx has a stereotypical view. It is Marx become armchair philosopher. Marx become an economic determinist who propounds the theory of class on the basis of ownership only. He doesn't consider another things such as power, another things of social system in terms of stratification, caste, and religious groups, and wealth, and so on. So he criticizes Marx as economic determinist, which did not go down very well with Weber, who is contrast, pointing out that where several factors are caused which are worked simultaneously in a society to make it operable. So there are aspects of social process and there are several causes that made to operate the social process or social action of individual. Marx is neglecting individual at many levels, which Weber is saying it is unicausal theory. So Weber is taking individual versus society as a whole. Okay, these are some criticism. We also see some criticism of Max Weber. Alfred Schulz in 1972 argues that the action theory is too individualistic and cannot explain the shared nature of meanings. That is, the meanings have shared natures. When actors attach meaning and motive, then it becomes an act in a rational term. So Weber is not explaining the other meanings that are latency, which is explained by Archimelton. Weber's typology of action is difficult to apply, and some actions belong to more than one type of action identified by Weber. Four types of action Weber identified: traditional, affective, word rational, and Zweck rational. Parsons limited it into three types: cognitive, cathetive, emotive action. So we never truly understand an individual's action. So Weber's idea of Verstehen cannot be applied because individual is reflexive, which we study phenomenological behavior of individual. For example, we see many kind of uh, robbers go to rob some house, they find it a poor house, they leave the house and they come back. So there is emotional bias and individual is always open to take decision. Now Lee and Newby in 1983 describe Weber as a methodological individualist who ignores the structure of society, who is working only on individual basis, and is ignoring the social structure that every other system or every other structure is interacting with another structure. So someone is unemployed, some other person is helping. If someone is going to suicide, some other person get motivated. So in this way every other structure is comprehending. Now another important fact provided by Max Weber is the Protestant ethics and the spirit of capitalism. Here we see the functional view of religion, which Weber is saying that religion itself acting as a force of motivation. It is instrument of success or development. How we see Protestantism rising from the European society when people protested against the church, got their movement in the French society. Then, under Martin Luther King, rise of Protestantism or Calvinism started. People started boycotting church as hegemony, and they gave the theory of work is worship. So Protestantism provides that no person can help you to reach God, but you yourself can work hard, get salvation, work hard, get success. So this led to rise in concept of time is money and work age worship. So Weber also studied other religions such as Protestantism, Hinduism, in which he found that why Hinduism is not developing and it has a low rate of economic development was due to constraining segmentation of society. So Hindu society is fragmented into stratified version Hindu society in terms of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, untouchables, and another part tribals who is kept aside. So Weber also studied that this kind of stereotypical work on the name of religion in which people are going to temple, sitting of hours, worklessly, they become idle person and they do not have their quest to work hard. They lose their motivation. Therefore, entire society becomes backward and redundant. In this way, after studying this concept, you can find the answer of such question that how Hinduism can be reformed to make development of the backward section of society. Backward class. Okay. Also Protestant ethics and spirit of capitalism providing another things such as capitalism is defined by Weber as a pursuit of forever renewed rational capitalistic enterprise, and spirit of capitalism is the notion of calling. Weber called it a notion of calling towards the God. You can reach the God through hard work and earn more money for its own sake in the sign of salvation. You can get salvation or anybody can get salvation without help of church or without any restriction from any priest by working hard, devoting towards the industrial investments. That is called as the spirit of capitalism. Now Max Weber also propound the authority. He gives the notion of power in terms of controlling the will of the other people, controlling the behavior of other people without their will. Okay, so this power is influenced by the authority, and that is authority comes from the three type of rationality, that is traditional rational society, in which the power is obtained by the tradition, the custom, or the hereditary influence leads to power. For example, Sarpanch, Khap Panchayat. Khap Panchayat gave a system of getting people killed when they are married to another outcast people. Then comes the charismatic authority who shows his charisma as a supernatural or extraordinary power leading to faith in the mind of followers who follow such charismatic leaders such as Gandhiji, King Martin Luther, or Jayaprakash. People follow these leaders blindly, which you also see Fidel Castro in Cuba Missile Crisis. This kind of charismatic leaders are making enormous change. On their call, people are going to die. On their call, people can do anything. That is a form of charismatic leadership. When you know this, you become really enlarged. So you also see that there is third kind of authority, which is rational legal system of authority, and that authority provides through the constitutional law, constitutional norms, which is universally accepted by the society. For example, bureaucrats, judges exercise their power in the court through the rational legal authority system. It has a legal support by the constitutional law, so it acts as an SP. So when you are ordered to do encounter sitting as a DSP or SP in an office, then you have to follow that instruction to encounter a criminal under various codes of criminal procedure, and it is not inhuman in nature, but it is a rational legal action. So traditional authority derives its power from the sanctity and belief. When there is traditional society, Sarpanch, Pradhan, Khap is the head of that society, and that is getting power from the inherited system, inherited beliefs. For example, a king has a divine right to rule, which Plato says that there should be a philosopher king. We also see the example of King of Bhutan or Queen of United Kingdom. On the other hand, charismatic authority is based on extraordinary supernatural incumbent, which leads to faith of the followers over it, and the belief among the adherents in charismatic society gives a phenomenal power to him. For example, Gandhiji gave call of Swarajya, Swadeshi movement, boycott movement, Karo ya Maro, and people do it blindly. On just one call, people engaged into such actions, that social action, without any hesitation due to the charisma of that leader which makes the call that need has to be done. Similarly, Jayaprakash gave the nara of Sampurna Kranti, and it gives tremendous change in the emergency period, and that leads to imposition of emergency because there was huge economic unrest and society become chaotic. So such things are done by charismatic leaders. Beware of this leaders. Now Max Weber gave important concept of bureaucracy. Max Weber shows that there is a system which is governing the entire body of the government in the modern rational society, which is based on the division of labor. Bureaucrats are specified to do certain kind of jobs broke down into simple routinized work. Then authority is in hierarchy. Senior position is secretariat, which take office of chief minister, which take order of the president. Then comes the IS as DM or commissioner, then SP, and so on. So position organized in hierarchy with clear command. They follow a written command to take order. Then there is formal selection through entrance examination conducted by UPSC, NDA, CDS, CAPF. People selected in this job based on technical qualification. It forms rules and regulations. So system of written rules and standards operating procedure are present. Further, it has impersonality. It has neutrality of individual biasedness. So people cannot, a person sitting in an office cannot choose to not launch a case on a person who is a offender, who violates the law, or who is a criminal if he comes in his relationship. So he has to take action under uniformity, as the uniform civil code is applied to control the person, and it is career oriented. There is promotion, there is raise in salary, and there is transfer also. So managers as well as bureaucrats have career in profession, not owners of the unit they manage. So in this way the bureaucratic control works. Thus Max Weber, for example, defined sociology as an interpretative understanding of social action having two qualities. While doing such an action, the actor takes in account of presence of another actor. So it is always an interaction between two actors, two persons in a social reality. Max Weber also writes about the subjectivity versus objectivity in the manner, because the individual actor has to attach the subjective meaning to it. If action is attached with the meaning that if he throws a hammer, another person will get injured, and he makes this intentionally, then it becomes an action. Although Max Weber's formulation on the Protestant ethics and its relationship with the rise of capitalism are widely accepted because it leads to developmental economics. Now we see some important questions emerging out of Max Weber. Elaborate Verstehen an ideal type, methods of social research, examine the various kinds of social actions. So you can relate this thing in ethics paper also. You can also use Max Weber's bureaucracy. So there can be question how the function of bureaucracy becomes significant in modern societies. Just keep on writing such answers and do submit in the comment box. I will also provide the description in the next class. So let us go forward and do best of your examination. Keep it in mind the research methodology and techniques used in the uh, decision making. This will also help you to a larger level. So, Max Weber's theory of authority is also criticized by the Michael Foucault, as he argued that authority and power don't lie with particular institutions and persons. As Weber suggested, power is highly dispersed in society and operates at all levels of different situations. Also, some critics such as Ralph Robert Dahl says that authority is situational and one may hold different kind of authority, and ideal type of authority has not mentioned the four types. Tony and Water and Dagmar Waters criticize that bureaucracy's basis of written legal rules. Activities of bureaucrats are on the official duty. So when they are out of duty, they hesitate to follow certain instruction or certain crimes being happened in the society. That becomes a dysfunctional aspect of the bureaucracy in the bureaucratic office by a sitting officer. So such kind of things are criticism of Max Weber. As you see that Max Weber provide another example, and we also see that there is also again criticism that iron cage of rationality is provided through the bureaucracy, that the command that has been put forward on the paper becomes an inevitable task to be done. It has to be done at any cost. So it is a iron chain of bureaucracy or iron cage of rationality which makes the society harmful, go in harm. So people get disenchanted in such kind of bureaucracy or rationality, and that is lost of human being. In this way, I believe that I have completed the session of Max Weber, and I believe you understand all the facts and figure clearly. Do put in the comment box, make a notes, and keep rising in your coming examination. Okay, thank you and have a nice day. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.